Night Terror's Black Adam issue 1. This is Jeremy Hahn, both writing and doing art. So
interesting.
yeah, I read this one, and yeah, I went through this so quick because so it's basically he's in Kandak, and I will say I do have some issues with the art. I think Black Adam here looks super young, like all the time, and it felt really weird to me. The art's like overly clean in a way that I think was a bit a detriment to him. But you know, he's fighting and defending Kandak as you expect. And he ends up like falling down into his nightmare. He falls out the sky when he's like grabbing someone, and when he stands up, he's surrounded by like this monstrous face, and like it's like the city's kind of coming to life around him. I will say the colors are quite good. I do like the coloring, even if I'm not as super thrilled on the line work. There's a lot of good use of purples and blues, and like there's a big moon in the sky. It's got a nice palette.
Yeah. It's got a mood to it.
But yeah, there's these like monsters that are like sort of like crouched like gargoyles all around him, up in the buildings, and he tries to fight them. And part of the reason why this reads so quick is because it is mostly action. There's very little dialogue for the first like 2/3 of the issue, and he's trying to punch, but then his powers start not working kind of correctly. He goes to fly and he ends up falling, and he's like, what's happening? And the monsters start laughing at him as they come towards him. And then eventually, when he tries to get away and he has a big lightning strike, he does get away, but then he falls out the sky, and when he stands back up, he's not Black Adam anymore. He's just, teenage him, right? He's smaller. He's wearing basically underwear and nothing else, and he's like, why is this not working? And then out of nowhere, this cat shows up who starts talking to him. I mean, that sounds really weird and crazy when I say it like that, but like, yeah, a cat shows up and starts talking to him. And
I mean, in his dreams, I mean, that makes sense. He is. Yeah. I mean, Kondak is close to Egypt, so it makes sense.
So the cat says he's Bast, but not the Bast, right? And he's like, my powers aren't working. He's like, well, say the word then, you dummy. And he says that, and what's weird is he says it once and it doesn't work, and then he says it again and it does work. But even after this, he's still like, he can't fly still. Some of his powers aren't working properly. There is a great, probably my favorite moment of the whole issue is that he picks up the cat by the back of the neck, and the cat slaps him in the face. It's the best panel of the whole issue. The cat says, put me down, damn it, and slaps him.
That's funny.
It's the best thing in the whole issue. So him and the cat go towards the big tower, and they are basically just trying to figure out what's going on. And then the real nightmare part of this comes in. Other than obviously I get that Black Adam's scared of not having the power and being weak again. That's always like a part of Black Adam. But he comes into this big building, and his son is killed by a giant... I don't know if this is a specific like monster from like Shazam lore. He's a big lizard man. I don't know if he's like a specific lizard man.
Are you sure it's not Sobek from 52? The crocodile?
Oh yeah, maybe him. Yeah. It's been a while. But he kills Black Adam's son, and then Isis, and just kills his family, and then punches him. Or sorry, the crocodile punches him just out of the building, and he ends up landing in an alleyway next to the cat again. And he wants to run off and do what he can. But at this point, the cat's kind of admitting that this is more of a nightmare that they're in. The final page of the issue, though, is he turns round and who's there? It's Batman. Batman's there.
Of course.
And that's the cliffhanger at the end of the issue. If I sounded kind of unenthused reading all that out, it's because I wasn't. Honestly, this one felt super just kind of like tie-in to me, in that, I mean, maybe Batman being there is a hint that Batman at some point is able to, go around the different nightmares and like collect people or something. So maybe this is a big tease right at the very end. But most of this just kind of felt like fluff. It just kind of felt like Black Adam's scared of losing his powers. He's scared of his family dying, and that was it. It was mostly fighting with art that I didn't even like that much. So I didn't really get a whole lot out of this.
So I was gonna say, is it Batman or is it Boston brand Deadman Batman?
I mean, I guess there's no way to know for sure, but he's not got the red text as if Boston is speaking through him. Okay. So I think... Now, I guess the real question is, though, is it really Batman who's showing up in his nightmare, or is this just Adam dreaming of Batman? You know, is this Batman just a part of his nightmare? Like, that's the real question, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But the implication of Batman saying, Adam, we need to talk, definitely implies to me that it is, in some form, a Batman or someone coming to try and wake him up or make him realize what's going on so they can fight it. But...
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I really wasn't feeling this issue all that much. It did feel like a fluffy tie-in issue that just kind of went through the beats that like you're not surprised by. And I read it so quick that I felt like I didn't get like a worthwhile time out of it. So it's a very hard one to recommend. You know, will I read issue 2 next month? I don't know. This is the one where I'm like, I'm less enthused. Like, I didn't get enough crazy. I didn't get enough good. I just got in the middle.
It was just breezing by. It sounds like it was just going along. I mean, it's interesting that if it was that his nightmares that because who was it? Was it Osiris? Was that the kid that Isis's brother that Sobek befriends? And then he, I remember reading that in 52. When he dies, it is very shocking and very graphic. The kid gets bitten in half. And then Sobek turns out to be one of Savannah's. So the fact that he's having the nightmare of Sobek coming back and killing his son, right, and Isis and all this other stuff, it seems like they're playing on old Adam lore, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, I don't remember any of this stuff. It's been so long since I've read 52. But it's... Yeah, it's just kind of a... It's kind of a dud, I'm afraid, but there's going to be some of these in these tie-ins, I guess. As far as a rating goes, it's like a 5. It's just that middle, boring territory where there's nothing particularly good, nothing aggressively bad either.